Hello guys, I hope you're doing fine and welcome to Code with Canon. And today I'm going to show you how to submit form data using Ajax. As you can see in front of me, I have a very basic HTML page, which if you want, I'll leave the link in the description. So these are basic form. Looks like this. It has three different inputs. It has the username, has the email address, and the password. So what I'm going to show you guys is instead of submitting and refreshing the page, I want to show you how you can submit your form data without refreshing your page and store them into the database. In front of me here too, I have a simple database called stuff, and it has username, email, and password. So with all that said, let's jump to the code. And if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and like. So the first thing you do is create this simple form data where users will be able to type their data. So here I have given my form an ID of manage user. I've given the input a name called username, and the next one has a name called email, the password called password. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include my action.js page into my index.php page. So to do that, you say script source. My page is called action.js page.js. So by doing this, you'll have included all the JS from the action page. So the next thing you need to do is you'll have to include the jQuery CDN. I'll also leave the link in the description below. So let's go to action.js where we will serialize our form data. So to do that, what you do first is let's say document .ready function. So what this does, this enables this tells the browser to run only when this entire page has been loaded. So the JS will run last after the index page has been loaded. So what you do now, from there you say you call the form data using the ID you gave here, which is manage user. You say $sign ID manage user dot submit function, and you give the function a parameter of e or any variable, and then you'll say e dot prevent default so this will prevent the page refreshing after every submission. So if we can test our code right now and say let's save our data and say let's refresh this page. So when you refresh this page and then let's say submit, the page will not be reloaded as usual. So we have a little bit of code, so don't worry. So next you say $Ajax URL. The URL is a parameter where you want your data to be processed, which is the process.php page. So you'll say my URL where I'll set I process my data is process.php, comma, and then you'll give a data param. Say data is equals to this, which is the form from the manage user form dot serialize. Dot serialize takes all the information from the input fields in the form data, and then you give it a method of post, because we want to post our data to the HTML, to the PHP page for processing, and then you give it a success message. Let's say success will be equals to function. You can call it any name, the parameter. You can say response, or you can say maybe data. You can give it any parameter, doesn't matter. Response. Then you say you want to return a message to your index page to show the user that the information has been submitted successfully. So I created this division called error message, which processes the message, the HTML data. It returns a response to the user to tell them that the registration has happened successfully. So this is the error message. I'll copy this and I'll say awesome. I'll say $, the error message dot HTML response. So whenever a user submits the information, he or she will get this response in the index page. So the next thing we want to do is check whether our action.js page is working. So we go to our processor, which is our process.php page, and let's say PHP. Let's just print any name, echo received data. So this one we are testing whether our page is working. So refresh our page and then say admin ss at gmail.com, and then here we'll say password is anything, and then submit and see whether it's working. So apparently it's not working. Let's see the error we are receiving here. According to this, we have made a mistake with the spelling, so it's supposed to be success and not double S and not a single S. So we can refresh our page and say admin ss at gmail.com, then give it any password, submit, and then we'll get this response. The data has been received. So what we want to do now is serialize that data, grab that data from the jQuery page, from the JavaScript page, and process it and store it in the database. So to do that, we need to extract this data. This is how you extract the data that has been serialized in Ajax. So the next thing you do, you say $data is equals to, leave it as an empty parameter, and say for each $underscore post as $k $v, say if this data is empty, this is how you send data. This is how you store the data. You say $data dot equals $k, which will be equals to $v, and then terminate. Then else $data dot equals comma. So I'll explain what this means just in a few seconds. Is equals to $p. Then down here we can print this data and see what it means. So after you process this data and say, let's refresh this page and say the username is admin, the password is ss@gmail.com, and the password is asdf. Submit. You'll see that it has separated the username be equals to admin using a comma and an email using a comma. What this code means is if this data is empty, start without a comma, splitting this data, and if it's not, because it's a loop, it will separate the next input, the second input using a comma, and the third and the fourth, and the cycle continues like that. So to store this data into database, now that we have seen it in the process.php page, what you do is just the normal insertion to the database, which will be first we connect to the database, which will just create here. You say $send connection will be equals to MySQL underscore connect. So the first thing is localhost. We are running in a local server, and the username is root, password is empty, and our database name is test. So what we'll do here is $SQL will be equals to insert into our table name stuff, then set $data. Then we'll say $results is equals to MySQL underscore query, the connection to the database, and then our query. So if $results happens, it means our data has been inserted successfully. So data submitted successfully. Else it tell the user that data submission has failed. Please try again. So this said, we can run our code and see whether it's working. So we go to our browser and say insert as admin ss@gmail.com and then give a password of ASDF, and we wait for the response. So you can see our data has been submitted successfully. And when you go to our database, check the data has been inserted successfully. First one is admin ss at gmail stf. So let's try and insert something else. You say so it's equal to super user and say super user and gg.com and say password, it's ASDFG, and then submit. So you see the data has been submitted successfully. And when you check our database, we have added the second input, which is superuser at gmail.com at gg.com, and the password is ASDFG. So that's all, and that's how you process your form data without refreshing your page. And if you are new to this and you like our video, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and like. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section, and I'll be willing to respond to you. Thank you. See you next time.